This here is our VW Grand California, and today we're actually upsizing from this to a brand new motorhome that we bought in our last video just 2 days ago. So in this video, not only are we taking you along for the ride as we collect the new van, but I want to sit side by side and go through why we've actually decided to go from arguably the perfect size day-to-day sort of week away kind of van to something that is going to be a lot more of a pain to travel around in.
This new motorhome will not work for us off-grid, so stick around later in the video where we detail what modifications we have planned to make this motorhome become the perfect off-grid setup.
We are here, and I don't think ours is even in the handover bay, if I'm honest. It's not, but we are collecting it. So we're going to go in, do all the paperwork, get all that sort of sorted, do our handover, because there's like an hour of going through showing us everything. We've never had a big motorhome before. There's loads of stuff in there that I didn't understand. Then I'm going to put you on the window as I do a first impression drive. I've never driven this one. I've driven a different one, but not this actual van. So I'll do a first impression to tell you what it's like to drive this brand new motorhome for the very first time, and no doubt they'll be twisting about Summit. Well, I'm on my way home, and there's a fly screen hammering off the door, loud as out, rattling like mad, but the rest of it's actually not a bad thing, not bad at all. I don't know if this is maybe wobbling quite a bit because I haven't secured that on, but that's loud as out. Another thing I've noticed is the speedo is set to kilometers an hour. Don't know why, so I need to sort that out. That noise. Yeah, that noise is atrocious. I need to figure that out because that can't be normal, rattling like that. I don't know if it's being retracted properly or not, but I'll have to fix that if not, because I cannot deal with that. That noise is unbearable. Yeah, it's going to be fighting fires, isn't it? Rattle, rattle, rattle. I think Aidan did say that she looks like a rattler. She is a rattler, that's for sure. But yeah, I don't mind it up to now, other than that, because that noise is not right. It is definitely I can see it bouncing all hour, but other than that, I think it seems fine. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try and pull our and see if I can fix that, because I cannot have that driving that home, and I'll have pulled my ears off my head by the time I get home if that keeps going. Listen to that. I'll leave that like that, and hopefully that'll stop the rattle until I get home and I can have a proper look at it. To be fair, I can actually see tons out of that back mirror, the back window. I completely forgot. I was saying to Danny, like, why the hell do they bother putting windows, rear view mirrors in motorhomes when you cannot see now anyway? Forgetting that I can see that much. I can see into me past out there. Well, it's the next day because we ended up having a night in the van with the kids. The kids hadn't even seen the van up until yesterday. But we're going to go over some of the good and bad things about the van, what I've noticed already that I like, what I noticed already that I dislike, because there's already a few. And I'm going to go over the kind of trade-offs that we had to contemplate before we upsize to something like this. Now, the first and best part of this van for me is this. Look at the size of it. Look at the space. I mean, there's a telly up behind you as well, so the camera can go even further back. It's so spacious. It's an incredible place to sit. I love it. Now, the trade-off to that is it's big. It's only a metre longer. In fact, it's not even a full metre longer than the Grand California, so the length isn't really the issue. It's the width. I was very aware very quickly of how wide this van is in comparison to the Grand California. Grand California, the medium wheelbase van, 6 metres, the width and length of it is perfect for pretty much any adventure anywhere. That to me was the perfect size. That is a trade-off that we know we're going to have. It was a calculated decision. So yeah, we are aware, and I was very aware yesterday, this is a wider van. The next trade-off is actually at the front of the van, and it was something that was a little bit self-inflicted. So we'll take you there and have a look. Before we move to the next part of the van, I just want to give a quick shout out to our travel guides. We've got our Ultimate Scottish Road Trip, which is the very best road trip in the entire UK. It's easy to drive, it's easy to see, even if you're not the fittest person in the world. This is the one you want to do. We've also got the NC500 Improved, which is a better version of the NC500. The Outer Hebrides, so if you're doing either of them two, you might want to dip to Harrison Lewis. They're covered in this. Or the incredible, beautiful Scotland in miniature, the Isle of Arran. And our newest one, which is the Borderlands 320 route. This one is a historic route that snakes between England and Scotland. And hopefully by the end of this year, we'll also have our Isle of Mull travel guide available as well. For 30% off through the entire month of September, use the code NEWVAN30, and that even applies to all of our digital products. Remember, the instant guides, you can get 7 guides for £6 plus 30% off, so it's like £4 odd. Jump in the description, all the links will be there. Anyway, back onto the van. This is the next trade-off, which is, it's a manual. It's a 6-speed manual. The reason we got it in the manual mainly was because this spec van was exactly what we wanted, really bar that. But this one more specifically is an ex-demo. So this was like the sort of showroom one that people climbed all over, kicked to hell, and we've saved a good chunk of money. This was one of the trade-offs that I know I am going to regret partially. When you're in towns, cities, traffic, manuals are a nightmare. But to have everything else, again, it was a calculated decision. It was a bit of a trade-off, bit of a toss-up, and this came out where everything else was much more important to me than having an automatic, albeit that thing in the background, beautiful 8-speed auto gearbox, fantastic smooth butter. This not so much. The next trade-off's in here actually, and it's not really a trade-off, it's just a negative, because this bathroom, albeit it might look lovely on here, and it is, look, I'll show you. Look how pretty it all is. But the shower, when you sort of open this, and the shower's behind there, and again, it's a decent-ish space, but then you have to like pin this door back and then have a shower curtain round. And I have noticed already, just off sort of testing it out, we haven't had a shower in it, but just standing it, it's tight, it's claustrophobic. The shower curtain's going to be sticking to us. I'm going to be fighting that off like pretty badly because I didn't like that sort of stuff. So that's, I hate to say it, but although the bathroom looks much nicer than Grand California, I think I actually preferred the Grand California's bathroom. That said though, has got like a towel drying radiator thing on the wall, which will come in handy in the winter. Now the next thing that I suppose it is maybe seen as a negative, and I saw it as a negative straight away. However, I don't know how much it'll really impact on us, and that is it's got the Aldi heating system, which I've heard fantastic things about, but I have also heard that it's quite hungry on gas, especially in the winter. We only really travel from the sort of autumn all the way through till spring. We don't really do any summer traveling, so chances are it's going to use a lot. It's got 2 gas burners as well as a gas oven and grill. But the gas bottles that you get with it are just 2 6-kilogram Caligas bottles. The Grand California had 2 11-kilogram flow gas bottles. Now, I suppose the reason it might not be an issue, if I kind of elaborate on that, is that I have heard rumours online that the Aldi heating system is bringing out a diesel conversion thing, which will be ideal because that'll help massively. Now, on top of that, Caligas bottles, you can get them pretty much anywhere. The flow gas bottle that the Grand California takes is a lot harder to get hold of. Not everywhere has them. So although this might use more gas, or at least use a similar amount of gas but run out of gas quicker, the bottles should be easier to find than they were. So again, a bit too early to sort of say whether it's going to be a negative thing yet, but I suspect it probably will be a little bit more of a pain than what the Grand California was. Another positive, but probably going to be a negative at some point, is this. So this is the front window one. I think it comes up higher to about there, and then I think you put these down. Good, I like it, it works well. I prefer not having to get out the van. I didn't put window covers on the outside. I don't like really having anything on the outside, if I'm honest, which is why I'm getting one of the modifications I'll explain later. The downside is I think that one will actually be fine. I think it's maybe source of one of the rattles though, but these ones, again, albeit they're pretty fantastic, very good invention, whoever come up with that. It's paper, gonna crease easily, and it rattles, but I don't know how durable these will be. The next thing really is these seats. Now, they're very, very comfortable when you're using them with a table. Like to sit on them here in the living area and you're watching the telly and you got your feet up here, lovely, wide, comfortable. but they're just not really very well designed for driving in. So because they're so wide and they've got no sort of support really down the sides, you kind of slide all over the place, because again, it's got like a leather bit in the middle and fabric on the sides, but I honestly felt like I was sliding side to side when I was driving and cornering, and if I didn't have the armrest down, I would feel like I was probably going to slide out of the seat, where the Grand California was the opposite. I didn't feel like they were very comfortable when I turned them round, because I still felt like I was in the driving area. This kind of feels like you're a bit further back. However, in the Grand California, the drive-in, they were very comfortable. So I think I actually prefer the Grand California seats, because these, I don't need these to be that comfortable. I've actually got two nice lounges in this. So yeah, I think the Grand California won on that one. One of the ways that I feel like they've achieved this nice open feeling in this van, if I'm honest, is the beds. Because the beds are sort of above your head and you're not having to sort of sacrifice a good chunk of your van to a fixed bed. I mean, if this bed came down to here, the van would feel a lot smaller, albeit still bigger than the Grand California, but you would lose a lot of space. Now, because of that, obviously, it is a potential weakness, because if you have issues with the electric or there's something happens with the motor in this, the only way to get it down is to wind it down through a little sort of Allen key bolt. So that is something that could potentially go wrong, although I haven't really heard of many people having any issues with that. So whether it is something that'll go wrong or not, I don't know. But anything electrical is always a potential sort of weakness. Now, the next positive is also really one of the Grand California 600 specifically positives, which is the brightness inside the van. Now, this is kind of brighter on a different level because there's so many windows. You've got the big one at the front here, which obviously has a blind and it opens. You've got obviously the side one there, the side one there. You've got three big windows at the back, one currently covered up by the TV. This one, like the Grand California, has the little Truma thing on it because the gas exhaust is just outside that window. But on top of that, you've got window here, and another one actually above the bed. And we were just sort of lying in that with little kids last night, just having a sort of bit mess around. And you can see the stars and everything as you lie in bed. So it's pretty nice place to be. Very airy, very light, very nice. I like it. Although earlier on it was a roast in here because the sun came out. One of the other things I really like about this, now I hadn't necessarily considered it, is it has an induction hob and two gas hobs. So if we run out of gas, once we sort our electrical system out, and we have like an upgraded one, which I'm going to go through in a minute, we should still be able to use this regardless, which is a nice redundancy to have, especially when you've only got two 6 kilogram bottles there. Obviously the oven wouldn't work, and neither would these two hobs, but that one still will. And in all fairness, in a pinch, just using one hob is more than enough. So that's all of the kind of van bits done, but we've had a load of questions of people asking what are the modifications we're doing to the van. And there's going to be quite a few, to be fair, but we've got 3 key ones planned over the next couple of months. The first big one is the electrical system. As you know, motorhomes, camper vans, they don't really come with anything decent. It's got one old lead acid battery in there, and that's that. Not powerful, it's got no inverter or any of the rest of it, and that's not going to work for how we work. We spend almost every single minute of the van off-grid. We went, I think when I worked it out, I could find bookings for 10 nights worth of campsites in the 3 year we had the Grand California, so we don't really do campsites, so we're going to need that first. Also, if you know me, you'll know that I haven't got a clue about technical stuff. So first thing I've done is I've reached out to Aidan and Mark and the people that I trust who recommended instantly Chris from Bespoke Solar. Spoke to Chris, he literally blew my mind with his knowledge and all of this sort of stuff. I didn't know there was difference in solar panels and all the rest of it. I thought one solar panel was the same as the next. I didn't know there was ones that are much more efficient in the winter months and like on overcast days and all the rest of it. So he's helped us plan a system along with Lewis at Adapt Van. So I'm going for like a 600 amp or maybe even 640 amp lithium setup. So we're more than capable of running everything that we need for a little bit longer than we probably need. I'd rather go a little bit over the top than have what... I mean, the Clayton system in that was flawless, but I need something a little bit more substantial in this. So Chris has been so helpful doing all that, and I'll introduce him and Lewis from Adapt Vans, who's doing the install. I'm actually going to try and see if Lewis will let us do a tour when we're there and see what vans he's got in, because last time I went with Mark, he had these Unimogs in, which were incredible, like proper big off-road stuff. But I'll explain that more when we get to that phase. The next problem I'm looking to solve is when you're off-grid for extended periods of time, you'll know that you end up with a toilet full of shit and nowhere to empty it. So last year I was talking to David from Haven Off-Grid. He introduced us to an incinerator toilet, which essentially is like a toilet with a boiler thing in, and it just burns your shit pretty much and gets rid of it, and you get a little cup of ash every now and again. So although they're expensive, that's going to fix a massive issue for us, because at the minute we use a little pee bottle and we have our solids in there, and that, although it works, isn't ideal. So we are looking to get that installed hopefully before the end of this year, which will make a big difference and it'll extend our trips massively. Water is an issue, but water you can buy in bottles and just fill it up, or you can find hose pipes now and again. A toilet full of shit, you just cannot empty it other than going to a campsite. Or, I mean, some islands and stuff have, like Arran has a chemical waste disposal point, but again, even having to just deal with that's a bit, you didn't really want it if you didn't have to. This should fix that problem. While we were speaking to David, he also introduced us to a hydraulic leveling system, which for someone who does not want to use leveling chocks and who spends every single night in uneven parking spaces and different areas, hydraulic legs that level the van by themselves sounded perfect. So that's probably going to be the third modification, and something that I get done more than likely at the exact same time that I get the toilet done, since he installs both of them. So them are the three key modifications. We're also, like I say, going for like a solar panel system on the roof, and I'm also getting Starlink fitted because I've had it at home for at least 3 years and it's been flawless. I've loved it and I cannot wait to get it on the van. Other than that, there's going to be other bits and bobs inside the van, but them are the three key ones that we've got planned, that we've kind of booked. I mean, the electrical system's booked in already. I'll be speaking to David in a few weeks when we're at the thing to sort out the other two mods, and I'm hoping to get them done by the end of this year as well. But if you have any questions about the van, if you've got any suggestions, any ideas for additional things, any products that you recommend, get in touch. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.